Hey guys, okay, so we're going to talk about graphing equations. This should be a review of Algebra 1, but one of the things that I'm super picky on, so I like to go over it and make sure that everybody knows how to graph a line, how to determine if something is a solution of a line, what quadrant a problem might lie in, what a quadrant is. So just getting out some terminology. Please make sure you're taking notes in your notes section, and all these notes end up in your binders, as in I will be looking for certain key points. In fact, there will be an example that I'm going to be looking for tomorrow, so I can stamp it and make sure that you did do this participation piece. So we're going to label those notes graphing equations. And what we're going to be focusing on is how to plot ordered pairs, determine if an ordered pair is a solution, graphing a linear function, and we may get to graphing nonlinear functions. We'll see. So we're going to plot an ordered pair. We're going to determine if it's a solution. And we're going to graph a linear line. Graph a linear function. Okay, so first of all, let's get familiar with our graphing plane. When it comes to creating graphs in my classroom, you are going to always start by having arrows at the end of both the x and the y axis. The arrows are meant to show that the number lines go on forever. We understand that they go on forever. There's no limitations, just to the fact that we stopped drawing it, but not that the numbers stopped going. So you're going to go ahead and mark up each one of those. These are called increments. Believe it or not, we have the power to determine what those increments are counted by. You can count by ones, twos, fives, whatever, just so long as the x-axis. So if I wanted to count by ones, these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I could count the y-axis by fives and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. As long as I do that just to the y-axis and I don't mix it up. Like I can't have count by ones here and then count by fives on this side. So they have to be consistent. So now that we have those labeled, let's go ahead and pick out what our quadrants are. So this is called quadrant 1. And yes, it's determined with a Roman numeral. This side over here is quadrant 2. Down here is quadrant 3. And then we have quadrant 4. And what those help us to determine is what signage is like. So when we're talking about quadrants, if we know them, then we're going to relate them back to their signage. In quadrant 1, your signage is positive for the x and positive for the y. In quadrant 2, it's negative for the x and positive for the y. In quadrant 3, it's negative and negative. And in quadrant 4, it's a positive, negative. Now again, just as a reminder, your ordered pair is consisted of an x and a y. There's an x value which moves horizontally, and there's a y value that moves vertically. Those are going to move up and down. Think about an ordered pair as a way of giving directions. We're giving directions to where to go. Hey, make a left at this block and then go up 4 more blocks. So you would be giving those instructions. You would be creating an ordered pair on how to go somewhere. And that's what the graphs are going to do. So we want to make sure we're creating those ordered pairs for that. So let's go ahead and practice plotting a couple ordered pairs. Let's start off with -2, 5. So we're going to graph -2 and 5. And so how I look at this is that I'm going to follow the fact that this is a x value that moves to go left or right. X values go left or right. So since it's negative, that's a direction that tells us to head towards the negative x-axis, which happens to be over here. This is your negative x's. These are your positives. So I'm going to go 2. 1, 2. Now the biggest habit kids get into is the second they hit the 2, they draw a dot. But that's not what I want to do because there's more to the instructions. It told me to go left 2, but it's also telling me to go up 5. So welcome to your y coordinate. He tells you to go up or down. And if it's positive, you go up, down is negative. So again, left 2, but then go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now you can plot the ordered pair -2 and 5. And notice how it matches the signage for our quadrant 2. Why don't you guys go ahead then and you graph the ordered pair 5, -2, and I will check for that in class tomorrow when I see you guys. Next, I'm going to pause this video, start the next one because we're going to go ahead and change topics. So be prepared to watch a second video. Thanks, guys.